Hi all, welcome to the 22nd edition of Professional Visa and Education Services News Update. My name is Janish. I'm the Director of Professional Visa and Education Services and also Registered Migration Agent in Australia. Now today I'm going to cover one of the hottest topic that a lot of students who come and visit me every day, mainly on RPL certificate, so recognition of prior learning. Now I know I've already released some video on RPL certificate, but today it's going to be a little bit different because what I've done is I've actually invited our assessor himself and my person who looks after the RPL certificate for Professional Visa and Education Services, Sam. So Sam will take us through the process in terms of what is RPL certificate, the benefits, how the whole assessment process is carried out, just so that you guys can get some more information. And on that note, if you need some RPL certificate, then obviously you can contact us, okay? So Sam, would you like to join us?
Yeah. Thank you, Nish.
Hello, Sam.
Thank you. Not about yourself?
Good.
Yeah, it's good.
So Sam, tell me, like we have, we get a lot of inquiries every day from our students, especially for those ones who is applying for either 457 visa or want their overseas qualification or onshore experience, to be assessed and so that they can get the certificate. So tell us, what is RPL certificate overall?
Okay, so RPL actually has no difference as compared to the formal study in Australia. RPL is a process, stands for recognition of prior learning. So if you have any experience in the industry, any relevant industry experience, for example, as a chef, you've been working for 4 years in any restaurant or different 2 or 3 different restaurants, right? And you would like to utilize your experience to be qualified with a formal qualification, let's say Certificate III in formal commercial cookery.
Yeah.
So instead of going back to formal education system to stay full-time study for about 1 year, you can apply for RPL, which is you want to get your experience recognized, like your formal experience recognized, and get qualified straight away with Certificate III in commercial cookery.
Excellent. So that means you don't have to sit in the classroom environment, or you're not looking at forking out a huge amount of tuition fees or anything like that. So you basically you're collecting all your evidence to demonstrate that you have the experience in the field, regardless what field it is, and then as an assessor yourself, we'll go through that experience and take the client through the process to give them Certificate 3, 4, Diploma, whatever the level they're qualified for, right?
And actually also it's a great thing to have, because what you do as an assessor is not just walk them through the entire process, we also develop a career profile. So what career profile is, that includes all their resume, reference letter, they might not have made resume before. So it's a process that actually they go through the professional development at the same time, not just the RPL based qualification.
Excellent.
So as opposed to your formal education system, which you may not require, because obviously if you already start, you already have the experience, you've been working in the industry for 3-4 years as a chef, so you're deemed to be knowing all of the stuff already, from cooking part to managing kitchen. So as an assessor, for me to go there and check with all this work evidence, speaking to his employees, all of the employees and employers, right, about the person who's applying for the RPL based qualifications, plus what exactly he's been doing day-to-day basis, all right? So the entire experience, we cover that up in a portfolio, all right? And then we assess them against the units that he was supposed to study in the formal classroom.
Correct.
And that's how we achieve the qualifications once the assessment gets the positive outcome.
Excellent.
So,
So it's obviously a pretty straightforward process. If someone's got experience in the field, obviously they need to provide the evidence, and we'll pass it on to the assessor. And if they got the competency level, then obviously they can get the formal qualification. That is recognised in Australia. It doesn't matter where they go, either for employment or either for a visa application. Or either to even further enhance their career in the field of study itself, they can use this RPL certificate, which is a recognised certificate, to do whatever they want to do in Australia. So that's great news. Now, what are the main benefits? Like when we talk about the RPL, what are the main benefits? What do you think? Like are the main major benefits for clients?
So thank you for asking that question. It's a really good question. I have come across that question many often, actually, from clients to the employers. Then why RPL? What are the benefits of it? The first and foremost, if time is money, think about how much time you're saving.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're working for 3 years as a chef, and if you need a qualification, right? And if you go back to school, for example, let's say Holmes Institute, right? They offer Certificate 3 and 4 in commercial cookery that leads to Diploma of Hospitality, right? And that takes entirely about 2.5 years full-time study.
Wow, 2 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years full-time study, which is about 4 days class a week, plus you're looking at around $25,000 to $30,000 entirely,
Huge,
right?
Yeah.
And provided that you're, attending the class regularly and you're passing all the subjects, right? So think about, if time is money, that means that you're actually spending not just $25,000. If you count your time, cost to money, which means you're spending more than $100,000 to finish that entire course, right? So if you have the experience in the industry, there's no point for you to sit in the classroom learning how to chop onions, right? Or how to hold a knife, right? Or how to really cook some vegetables or soup or different types of items. You've been doing that. The purpose of the Australian vocational education system is to put you back in the workforce as soon as you finish your degree. So what about you're already in the workforce, right? You just need a qualification to recognize that experience.
Correct.
All right, that is RPL. So this is the most important part of it, right? Second thing is a lot of people, they have their family, they need to support their family day-to-day basis. They just cannot leave their full-time work and go back to school.
It's a bit of a work-life balance.
100%, 100%. So RPL does not interrupt your day-to-day work experience at all. So as an assessor, we actually go to your workplace if required to, and collect all the evidences when you're working. So it does not interrupt your day-to-day life at all. And think about, as compared to 2.5 years full-time study, you're just finishing the entire course maybe within 4 to 6 weeks, as long as you can provide all the evidence of your workplace. So this is the most important part. Plus obviously, if you're coming from offshore, or even if you're an onshore, you need a visa, applying for a visa like 457 sponsorship or any kind of skill migration visa, you need Australian qualification. That makes huge difference. As a migration lawyer, you must agree with that, right?
100%,
So I think this is another great benefit, that you don't have to go back to school. Obviously, if you're an offshore, you cannot do it even if you want to. So I think you can use your offshore experience as well, because RPL qualification provided by Australian colleges and institutes do not discriminate whether actually you're in offshore or onshore. So you can use your experience wherever you are.
Experience and you can prove.
There you go.
Awesome.
This is the most important part.
Thank you, Sam. Now, the common questions that we get all the time is why is it important to to choose the right education provider? Because there's a lot of education provider out in the market, and obviously training.gov.au will provide us some sort of transparency in terms of whether or not they have been suspended, or they still trading well. So why is it important to have a good education provider?
To give you to answer your questions, actually, let me give you a very good example, right? If you're given a choice to go to University of Sydney to finish your Bachelor of Business, or Holmes Institute to finish the same degree, free of cost, what would you choose?
Correct. So you'd go the better
go for the better education, right? Obviously, because it's not just about the certificate; it's about the learning process as well, right? And if you can decide, if you think that will be better for you, of course the government is the same way, right? So with the education provider, even if they're privatized organizations recognized by Australian government through ASQA, it applies the same rules, right? So if you have a qualification that comes from a colleges that has been blacklisted by the immigration or ASQA, that means that the qualification might be under scrutiny. So the government will actually go for integrity checks. They might be calling the different colleges, and God forbid, if it comes from scammers, then it might be a fake qualifications, and then the whole money will be wasted. So it's really important to choose the right education providers, right agents like you, so that they get the qualifications. They know that the qualification has been authenticated. It has been already been had been going through the integrity checks and everything. So I think this is one of the most important parts as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, well, I mean, we do get a lot of students every day where they have been ripped off by some of the agents by giving them certificates, whereas these are the certificates being printed at home with a colour printer, not like a proper qualification.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously they have put a lot of hard work in it, like the students, to produce these certificates, and at the end of the day, it's heartbreaking to see that some of the agents are doing that. But I mean, so far we have been great success with our certificates, and for 457 Visa itself, and thank you to you. Obviously, we have got a lot of success in terms of providing those certificates and obtaining visa. I mean, look, there has been a great information session today, so thank you so much for coming in. Guys, once again, if you guys have any questions about RPL certificate or would like to apply RPL certificate, not just RPL certificate, food safety or first aid certificate, you can contact us. We're located at 99 York Street, level 9, suite 4, and our phone number is 0290074409. You can also visit us in our Facebook page, which is Professional Visa and Education Services, and like our Facebook page. Obviously we'll be updating you every Monday with the latest update and news and everything like that via video, which is a lot easier to watch. So yeah, that's it for today. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll be back again next Monday with more updates.